Captain America, one of the most beloved Marvel characters of all time, having some some pretty bad luck starting off in film, but ending up being one of the best parts of the early years of the MCU. Captain America the Winter Soldier even being considered not only one of the best MCU movies, but one of the best comic book movies ever. Now, your boy hasn't seen this movie since like 2018, so I can't really voice much of an opinion on it as of now. A lot of people definitely didn't like the way that his character had ended. For me personally, I thought that I honestly liked it, but this was the thing that kind of split the fandom. At the end of his run, Steve ends up giving his shield to Sam Wilson. After this happened, suckers was losing their minds. Why did you give it to Bucky? Why'd you have to give it to Sam? Why'd you have to go back in time and crack some This was the start of Sam's steep decline as a character. Sam was someone who had been, a good side character, but him taking up the mantle of Captain America was something that a lot of people couldn't have seen going well.
Ain't gonna happen.
He came in, he did some cool stuff, he did a corny one-liner and did that iconic smirk, and that was about it. They never really showed us a side of him that proved he could live up to this mantle. Fast forward a couple years later and Falcon and the Winter Soldier had come out. The show was really about Sam learning to accept the role of Captain America and how to live up to that huge mantle. But the show again portrays Sam as almost a side character in his own story. There's nothing new explored about Sam, and we don't really get to see a strong struggle between him and the Captain America mantle. The best way I could describe it is, well, the title feels the same. He just feels like Falcon dressed up as Captain America. The show ended with a really corny ending that spanks the Captain America title right onto Sam's booty, and we move on. And no joke, like half a decade later, we finally get his Captain America movie. And guess what, young bucks? This dude is still a side character in his own movie. This might have well been Hulk New World. Okay, you know what, that was corny, but you know what I'm trying to say. All the things that this movie could have failed on, I mean, at least I would have thought that they would have made the Captain America movie about Captain America. No! From all the reshoot rumors from the early screenings to the rumored $400 million budget, which I think was confirmed to be fake, but I mean, they still fooled us with all of this. To them, even revealing one of the best parts of the movie completely in the trailer just to get people excited. So in today's video, we're gonna go back and look at all the things that this movie did wrong, how it sidelined Sam. No matter how good it could have been, it still would have flopped. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Not gonna lie, when I was watching like the first 20 minutes of this movie, I was like, yo, they low-key kind of cooking with this plot. Yeah, until them suckers forgot to turn the heat off and burn the whole crib down. Basically, the movie starts off with like this Sam stopping this shady deal that was going on, which was revealed to be adamantium that they got from like the Eternals body. You know, for the 12 people that watched Eternals, we remember that. I thought that was kind of cool, the introduction of adamantium, and I'm excited to see where it goes. But anyways, there's a shooting at the White House that involves half of the guards and Isaiah. Isaiah tries to run, but the police catch him and they arrest him. And at this point, I'm like, yo, this low-key isn't that bad. Like, I like the thriller feel. I like the idea of like, yo, why did these dudes start tweaking out and shooting at the president and stuff like that? So I was low-key rocking with it, and I thought it was gonna be pretty good. Yeah, remember those words, bro. Later on, Sam tries to go to the president and tell him that there's no way that Isaiah was like actually purposely behind this, and the president just shuts him down quickly and yells at him, "You're not Steve Rogers," and basically fires him from being Captain America. Now, this was when I saw like the first red flag. There's a big thing about like Ross trying to be a better person, and is brought up like a bajillion times, and Sam is like, yo, we gotta help like this dude. Like, we already falsely like arrested him for 30 years and experimented on him, so like he cannot go back to prison. And then old Buck is just like, "You're not Steve Rogers." Like, dude, this doesn't sound like you're trying to be a better man to me, yo. And especially the fact that we've seen super soldiers getting like mind controlled. Like, this isn't something to be taken lightly. Like, this dude is acting like Sam said the most outrageous thing that could have happened, but it's like, yo, we literally saw this happen to multiple people back in the day. Why is it such a crazy thing now? I wouldn't have cared that much if the movie wasn't trying to make this big emphasis on Ross's like character arc, but like this was basically Ross's entire arc for the movie, was him trying to be a better person, so that didn't make any sense at all. Anyway, Sam goes behind the president's back and finds out who's really behind this, and yo, it's the leader. What a surprise. You know, everyone definitely didn't know he was gonna be in this. This is definitely where the movie started to like completely fall apart. And get this, guys, the real plot, you know, like the mystery, the plot we're supposed to be uncovering ourselves and like putting the pieces together ourselves, it's not shown. It's literally explained in one scene. You see, one of the things this movie does is have like every single point of dialogue in this movie be just straight exposition and robot conversations. One character says something important about the plot, and the other one reminds them of an important plot device that they left out. So then they explain the whole plan to you so that the audience knows, because we definitely can't have the audience forget. And anyways, the leader is basically like, man, Sam, I hate Thaddeus Ross so much. I hate him so much that I'm gonna make his daughter hate him and the whole world hate him forever, and then blame him for making World War III, and then I'm gonna turn him into Red Hulk. You know, he doesn't explicitly say this, but like it's literally like if you put that conversation into chat GBT and then tell it to make it a little bit more professional. So what does the story exactly have to do with Captain America? Literally nothing, except that it's America and Captain America's got to defend it. The leader wants nothing to do with Sam or at all. He just wants to ruin Ross's life because he had him locked down there, locked in his basement for like 15 years. And another stupid thing is like, dude, you're the leader. Were you just sitting here intentionally waiting for this long? Like, you hate him so much for locking you up, but you could have avoided this altogether. All of those possibilities and calculations, and you couldn't get out? Like, what? And it's like, he literally walks out and mind controls like every single guard that's there. It's like, what was stopping you from doing this from the very beginning? And even if you were waiting all this time, why intentionally build up all this rage and anger toward this guy when you could have just avoided it all along and just killed him? I don't know. It makes my head feel like the leader's head, bro, the more that I think about it. Let me just put this into perspective for you guys so you can understand this. If I'm wrong, also somebody please correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure this is how the scene played out. At the end of the movie, Sam is sitting on like some random bench, and then the leader just appears behind him, and Sam is like, "The plan's over, buddy. We busted you." And then the leader is like, "Nah." And then Sam is like, "I already figured out your plan, man. I'm too smart for you." And then he did like that little side smirk because he knew something that the leader didn't. And then he was like, "You knew that World War III was never gonna start. You just wanted to like, I don't know. I think he wanted to make Ross angry, but Sam is like, "You knew the chances of World War III starting were little to none, right?" And then the leader was like, "Yeah, I did." What? So hold it. All this time, I was thinking the leader wanted to intentionally like start World War III to cause the world to hate Ross. But he literally says he knew World War III wouldn't start. He basically just wanted to turn Red Hulk into Ross and make Ross into Red Hulk and make Betty hate him. What does this have to do with Sam? Why is Sam even here? Why not just make this a Hulk movie? You literally could have replaced Sam with Hulk and the movie honestly probably would have been better. Why are we still making Sam a side character in his own movies? This is the first time we're seeing Sam lead as Captain America without the help of anybody else, and they decide to make him a cog, part of a bigger story. This is the problem. This is not a Captain America movie. I kept hearing everybody say this before I watched the movie, and I honestly thought, well, they gotta be exaggerating. They were not This is literally a gamma radiation Hulk movie. That's all it's about. The main villains are Hulk villains. It has more to do with the Hulk films than it does with any other Captain America film. They want us to take Sam seriously as a character so badly, but they don't even care to write him a movie that's based around him. And honestly, when I hear and walking out of the theater, it just made me think, like, why do people get so angry when people say that they don't like Sam as Captain America? Like, dude, I'm not saying I want to turn bro into a BLM movement. I'm just saying they could have written him a little bit better. These guys do not care about Sam, and it sucks because I really do like Anthony Mackie, and it just seems like he loves playing this character, but these writers are always doing him dirty. It's to the point now where I genuinely feel like him being a leader over an entire team is far beyond ever happening and being realistic. The leader wanting to intentionally start World War III just to intentionally start World War III would have been a much better thing because it would have involved Sam naturally, and then he could have flowed well into that story. But the fact that the leader is coordinating such a personal attack against Ross, Sam just feels squeezed into this. All right, now that we're on the topic of Sam, I'm just gonna go ahead and start talking about him. One of the biggest controversial things about his character, obviously, is the idea of him not taking the super soldier serum. Now, before I start talking about him, I'm just gonna come out and say, I have no problem with him not taking it. I think it's an interesting route to take his character, and it gives lots of potential to have very interesting writing moments for his character. But they throw all of this stuff out of the window. I think the idea of anybody wanting to be Captain America and that anybody can be a hero is represented very well, but they never dive any deeper into this. One of the things that I don't like about it is they always bring it up. Like, it's always like, yo, why haven't you taken the serum? Either it's like a serious question or they play it off as a dumb joke, as if like this isn't a big pivotal moment for his character, but they never explain why. It's like Sam makes this whole speech about answering like every question in the world except why he didn't take the serum. If you ask me why he hasn't taken the serum, I genuinely wouldn't be able to tell you why, because I don't even think this dude knows. So if this is the route that they're gonna take it, I just think you need to stop bringing it up. They brought it up like a bunch of times in Falcon and the Winter Soldier and like 3 times in this movie, and there's still no real explanation as to why he didn't take it. The other thing is, well, this dude is borderline superhuman. Like, there's nothing that really happens in the movie that he's hindered by because he didn't take the serum. Like, while dude was fighting Gus, this sucker took a dagger to the chest and a mini axe to the gut and keeps fighting like he doesn't have knives sticking out of his body. And dude, he drop kicks this guy through like an entire car. You're pretty much superhuman. Literally the only scene where he fumbled the bag is when they were about to capture the leader and he turned on some device that like stabilized him for like 10 seconds. But are we forgetting that this sucker took out like 20 armed soldiers in a small room, doing backflips, kicking his shield, bouncing off the wall, bro? Like, dude, this is crazy. Why keep bringing it up if you're not gonna explain why he's not taking the serum? And why keep making jokes about it if this dude is borderline superhuman? It doesn't make sense. Why are you making a problem out of a problem that's not really a problem? Sam also brings like no kind of heart or emotional core into the movie at all. He's treated like a side character in the movie, like I said, so he seems like one. He doesn't go through any kind of arc throughout the film or anything at all. People always compare him to Steve because he went through struggles and arcs throughout each of his 3 movies and even in the Avengers films. Sam, unfortunately, hasn't grown or anything since anything. He's the same guy. And because of this, it just ultimately puts him in a C tier no matter what, because he hasn't grown at all. Right, now for Ross, I'm just gonna go out and say Ross was an incredibly missed opportunity at a really good character. As someone who had done nothing but try to screw up everything for the superheroes, Ross trying to become a better man for everybody, and most importantly his daughter, seemed like a pretty good arc set up for him. What I mean, obviously his arc is gonna go straight in the trash. He doesn't try to show any kind of struggle between him being a better man or not. An example I brought up earlier is how he treated Sam after the White House shooting. Again, super soldiers being victim to mind control is something that's very likely to happen, but it's treated as something that Ross just shrugs off because he doesn't care about the situation at all. The whole movie, he just acts like a grump that dumps exposition and yells at everyone and foreshadows Red Hulk every scene he's in. Once he becomes Red Hulk, we get to see like all 2 nanoseconds that weren't spoiled in the trailer, and it gets a little bit better. I think Red Hulk is good. Obviously his comic version is a lot better. They kind of wrote him as like dumb, and he doesn't speak at all or show any signs of intelligence, which is kind of weird because I feel like Red Hulk is known for like his intelligence compared to the Hulk, since he can control himself. Anyways, the power scaling obviously is insanely all over the place. I mean, there's literally a part where Hulk like swings the American flag at Sam and he just like catches it, and then he gets bear hugged through the White House and like nothing happens to him. Also, they do show Red Hulk's heat when he burns through his clothes, and when the bullets hit him they kind of like melt, yet he's still able to get stabbed, and he literally holds Sam by his head and like there's no heat coming off and boiling his helmet. I don't know, bro. I just felt like it was all over the place. The last thing, in the end, they actually pulled the "this isn't you" talk and ended up defeating him, and it honestly was ridiculous. Ross had spent basically the entire movie trash talking Sam, yet he's gonna listen to him at the end of the movie. Like, dude, you guys literally have no connection at all. And it's to the point where like It genuinely would have made more sense if Betty was the one to do it, but that would have been a cornball mess because it wouldn't have made any sense on how she got there so fast. Now, let me show y'all what I can cook up really quick for a better way that I think that they could have defeated Red Hulk. So we got the base fight, right? Sam's flying around and stuff, fighting Ross, blah, blah, blah. But then he starts to realize that Ross gets hotter the angrier that he gets. So Sam could swoop in, fight him, and like fly off just to like piss him off. And just like in the comics, the hotter that Red Hulk gets, he starts to get weaker, whereas the Hulk gets angrier, he gets stronger. Anyways, it'd just be a thing of Sam using his enemy's weakness to defeat them. The Red Hulk would end up overheating and end up like defeating himself in a way, which would have made sense because it would have showed how Sam can make up for his strength and his smarts, and it would have made sense because there's no way Ross would be able to control himself as Hulk. He doesn't know how to control these heating abilities and all of that stuff. I don't know. I thought about this in the shower the other day and thought it would have been a better ending than the one we got. Overall, all I could say is, why waste all of this potential? It genuinely makes me wonder what went on behind this. They had nearly half a decade to come up with a good story and character arcs and storylines just for it to be so bland. Negative screenings plus reshoots, and this was the best that they could come up with? Captain America Brave New World, I think, was doomed to fail ever since Sam had been written the way that he was. The movie fails because of a boring plot, weak villains, and Sam falling victim to the curse of being a side character.
That's the Black Falcon there, I tell you.
Now, I'm an inventor.